Sarah worked in the Earth Defense Force headquarters. Every day she sat at her small desk on the third floor. She typed reports, she answered calls, she was good at her job. Nothing exciting ever happened. That was exactly how Sarah liked it. She was quiet, she wore big glasses. Her favorite thing was reading books during lunch break. Fighting monsters was something other people did. Strong people, brave people, not Sarah. But today, everything changed. The military transfer order came in a red envelope. Red envelopes meant urgent. Red envelopes meant dangerous. Sarah read it 3 times. Monster Division, the most deadly unit in the entire galaxy. Everyone knew the truth about Monster Division. Agents died within 6 months, sometimes 6 weeks, sometimes 6 days. The monsters were too strong, too fast, too deadly. Sarah's hands were shaking. Her friend Lisa saw the letter. Lisa's face went white. She grabbed Sarah's arm. "You need to fix this right now. This is clearly an error. Go to headquarters. Tell them they sent the wrong person." Sarah nodded. Yes. That made sense. This was just a computer mistake. Sarah walked to the commander's office on the top floor. Her legs felt weak. Commander Black was a huge man with scars across his face. He looked at Sarah's letter and started laughing, a cold laugh. "No mistakes here, Chen. You report tomorrow morning at 0600 hours, or you go to military prison for 20 years. Your choice." Sarah could not breathe. "But, sir, I am not a soldier. I cannot fight." The commander leaned forward. His eyes were hard. "Tomorrow morning, Chen. Do not be late." The door closed behind her. That night, Sarah could not sleep. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Her laptop was open. She watched video after video. Monsters ripping through steel walls. Monsters killing trained soldiers in seconds. Monsters with teeth like swords. This was impossible. She was going to die. The sun came up. Sarah had 2 choices. Report to Monster Division and face certain death, or run away and hide forever. But Sarah was not a runner. If she was going to die, then she would face it. But something inside her whispered. Maybe there was a third choice. Maybe there was another way. The Monster Division base was massive. Black steel walls, heavy weapons everywhere. Sarah walked through the main gate carrying one small bag. Every hunter she passed stopped and stared. Some pointed at her. Others shook their heads. One man actually laughed out loud. Sarah kept walking. Her hands were sweating, but she would not turn back now. The training ground was huge. 40 hunters stood in perfect lines. All of them were tall. All of them had muscles like iron. Scars covered their faces and arms. These were people who had survived hell. Sarah was 5'3". She wore glasses. She looked like a teacher, not a monster hunter. A giant man walked toward her. He was 6'7" with a scar running down his entire face. His name was Marcus Kane. He was the team leader. Marcus looked down at Sarah. His voice was loud and angry. "Who sent me a librarian? This is not a joke. This is suicide." The other hunters laughed. Someone whispered, "She will not last 1 day." Marcus grabbed Sarah's arm and pulled her to the weapons area. "Pick one." Sarah looked at the guns. They were huge and heavy. She tried to lift a standard rifle. It was too heavy. She almost dropped it. More laughter. Marcus shook his head. "This is unbelievable." Training started immediately. First test was shooting. Sarah missed every target. Second test was running. She finished last by 3 minutes. Third test was hand-to-hand combat. A female hunter named Rita knocked Sarah down in 2 seconds. Sarah lay on the ground, breathing hard. Everything hurt. Rita offered her hand, but her eyes showed pity. Pity was worse than anger. Lunchtime came. The cafeteria was full of hunters eating and talking. Sarah took her food tray and looked for a place to sit. Every table went quiet when she walked past. Nobody wanted her. She sat alone in the corner. Across the room, Marcus was talking to the commander. Sarah could not hear the words, but she knew what Marcus was saying. "Send her back. She will die on the first mission. The commander's response was cold. She stays. Orders from above. Marcus slammed his fist on the table. Fine, but her death is not on me. That night, Sarah sat alone in her small room. Everyone else was at the bar celebrating another successful mission. Sarah opened the Monster Hunter Manual. It was a thick book, 500 pages. Most hunters never read it. They relied on strength and weapons. Sarah started reading, page after page, hour after hour. Then she saw something interesting. Every monster had patterns. Class A monsters attacked from the left. Class B monsters always protected their stomach area. Class C monsters moved in predictable circles. Other hunters used strength and speed. Maybe Sarah could use her brain. Maybe that was her weapon. The alarm was so loud Sarah jumped out of bed. Red lights flashed everywhere. Her door burst open. Marcus stood there in full combat gear. "Get dressed now. We deploy in 5 minutes." Sarah's hands shook as she put on her armor. It felt heavy and strange. She grabbed her rifle and ran to the landing bay. 12 hunters were loading into the dropship. Everyone was checking weapons and ammunition. Sarah sat in the corner trying to remember everything from the manual. Marcus looked at her. "Stay behind us. Do not do anything stupid. If you see the monster, you run. Understand?" Sarah nodded, but her throat was too dry to speak. The flight to Colony 7 took 30 minutes. Nobody spoke. Sarah looked out the window. The colony was small. Only 5,000 people lived there, families, children. The ship landed hard. The door opened. What Sarah saw made her stomach turn. Blood was everywhere. Buildings were destroyed. Bodies lay in the streets. The monster had been here for hours. Marcus raised his fist. Everyone moved forward in formation. Sarah stayed in the back like she was told. Her heart was beating so fast she thought it would explode. Then they saw it. The monster was massive, 8 legs like a spider. Each leg was covered in black armor. Its head had 6 red eyes. Acid dripped from its mouth, burning holes in the ground. This was a Class C Ravager. Sarah had read about them. Armored skin, extremely fast. Weak spot, unknown. Marcus gave the order. Open fire. 12 hunters started shooting. Bullets hit the monster from every direction, but nothing happened. The bullets bounced off the armor like rain. The monster turned toward them. It made a sound like metal scraping metal. Then it charged. Everything happened so fast. The monster moved like lightning. Its front leg swung out and hit 3 hunters. They flew backward and did not get up. Marcus was screaming orders, but nobody could hear over the gunfire. Another hunter went down. Then another. The monster was too strong, too fast. Marcus yelled, "Retreat! Everyone fall back! Fall back now!" The hunters started running toward the ship. But Sarah did not move. She stood completely still. Her eyes were locked on the monster. She was watching, studying. The monster moved left, then right, then left again. A pattern, just like the manual said. The monster saw Sarah standing alone. It turned toward her. Those 6 red eyes focused on her small body. It charged. Marcus screamed, "Sarah, move! Sarah, run!" But Sarah did not run. She watched the monster come closer. 50 feet, 40 feet, 30 feet. She could see its teeth, smell its breath. At the last second, Sarah rolled to the left. The monster's legs smashed into the ground where she had been standing. Sarah came up on one knee. She aimed her rifle at a small gap behind the monster's 3rd leg. A tiny spot with no armor. She pulled the trigger once. The bullet hit perfectly. The monster made a horrible sound. Its legs collapsed. It fell sideways. Black blood poured from the wound. 10 seconds later, the monster stopped moving. It was dead. 1 shot, 1 kill. Silence. Complete silence. Nobody moved, nobody breathed. 40 seconds passed. Then Marcus walked forward slowly. He looked at the dead monster, then at Sarah. His voice was quiet. "How did you know back at base the entire monster division was talking about Sarah? How did the desk worker kill a Ravager?" Marcus called a meeting in the briefing room. Every hunter came to listen. Sarah stood at the front. Her voice was quiet but clear. I read the manual. Really read it. Every page, every word. Monsters are not random. They have patterns, behaviors. The Ravager always protects its right side. That means the left side has the weak spot. Marcus crossed his arms. Combat is not about books, Chen. It is about instinct, battle experience. You got lucky. Sarah looked at him. Then test me. Give me another mission. Marcus smiled. It was not a friendly smile. Careful what you wish for. The commander assigned Sarah to 5 more missions in 2 weeks. Mission 2 came 3 days later. A Class B shifter was destroying the downtown district of New Tokyo. The monster could change colors like a chameleon. It had killed 8 hunters already. Everyone said it was impossible to track. Sarah's team arrived at the city. Buildings were on fire. The shifter was invisible. Hunters were shooting at shadows, wasting ammunition. Sarah closed her eyes and listened. She heard heavy breathing, movement patterns, footsteps. She pointed to an empty street. There, 3rd building, 2nd floor. Marcus looked at her like she was crazy. There is nothing there. Sarah raised her rifle and fired 3 shots at the empty window. A scream echoed through the street. The shifter appeared. It was bleeding. It fell from the window and hit the ground. Dead. The hunters stared in shock. Sarah lowered her weapon. Shifters need to breathe every 40 seconds. You can hear it if you listen. Mission 3 was a pack of 20 Class D Rippers attacking a mining station. Small, fast monsters that attacked in groups. Most teams lost half their members fighting Rippers. Sarah studied the attack patterns for 2 minutes. Then she told Marcus, "They will come from the north tunnel in exactly 5 minutes. Put everyone there." Marcus hesitated. Sarah's voice was firm. "Trust me." 5 minutes later, the Rippers came exactly where Sarah predicted. The hunters were ready. Guns positioned perfectly. The Rippers ran straight into the trap. 0 casualties. Complete victory. On the flight back, Marcus sat next to Sarah. "How do you do it?" Sarah smiled. Rippers always attack from wherever the wind is blowing. Basic predator instinct. Mission 4 was the hardest. A Class B Leviathan in the underwater city of Atlantica. Water monsters were unpredictable. The Leviathan had destroyed 2 submarines. Sarah studied video footage for hours. Then she noticed something. The monster never attacked during sonar pings. It is blind, Marcus. It uses sound to hunt. We make noise, it finds us. We stay silent, it cannot see us. The team went underwater in complete silence. No engines, no radio, no movement. They drifted with the current. The Leviathan passed right by them. Sarah aimed for its sensor organ behind the gills. 1 shot. Monster down. Mission complete. The success rate of Sarah's team jumped from 40% to 95%. Other hunters started watching her instead of Marcus. They waited for her orders, followed her lead. Marcus was not angry. He was impressed. "You are making us all look bad, Chen, but keep doing it." Not everyone was happy. Victor was the 2nd best hunter in Monster Division. He had 93 kills. He was fast and strong and proud. He hated that a desk worker was getting more attention than him. One day, Victor confronted Sarah in the cafeteria. "You got lucky 4 times. Face a real monster alone and you will die screaming." The room went quiet. Everyone stopped eating. Marcus stood up, but the commander raised his hand. He had been watching from the doorway. "Fine, Victor. Sarah's next mission is solo." The words hit like a bomb. Solo missions meant Class A monsters. Nobody survived Class A monsters alone. Nobody. Sarah's face went pale. Victor smiled. "See you at your funeral, Chen." He walked away laughing. Marcus grabbed Sarah's shoulder. "You do not have to do this. Tell them no." But Sarah shook her head. "When is the mission?" The commander's voice was cold. "Tomorrow night. Sector 9. The Reaper is waiting." The Reaper. Sarah had read about it. A Class A monster that had killed 23 hunters in 2 years. It was intelligent. It set traps. It hunted hunters. And now Sarah had to face it alone. Sarah spent the entire day in the research library. She pulled every file on the Reaper: video footage, hunter reports, autopsy records of its victims. The Reaper was different from other monsters. It did not just kill. It studied its prey. It learned. It adapted. The files showed a terrifying pattern. The Reaper had killed 23 hunters in 2 years. Every hunter had been experienced, strong, well-armed. None of that mattered. The Reaper was 7 feet tall with blade arms that could cut through steel. Its skin was black like shadows. It could move silent as death. Worst of all, it was patient. It waited for the perfect moment to strike. Marcus came to the library at midnight. Sarah was still reading. He sat down across from her. His voice was tired. "This is murder, Chen. You are not ready for this. The commander is sending you to die because Victor challenged you. It is politics. It is stupid." Sarah looked up. Her eyes were red from no sleep. "Then help me, Marcus. Tell me how to survive." Marcus leaned back in his chair. "You want the truth? There is no way to survive the Reaper alone. It is too smart. Your pattern reading will not work because it does not follow patterns. It creates them. It makes you think you understand it. Then it kills you." Sarah closed the file. "So what do I do?" Marcus stood up. "You run. You hide. You survive as long as possible. Maybe rescue comes. Maybe it does not." The next evening, Sarah put on her armor. She checked her rifle 3 times. Extra ammunition, emergency beacon, medical kit, everything she might need. The other hunters watched her walk to the dropship. Nobody said good luck. Saying good luck to someone facing the Reaper felt like a lie. The flight to Sector 9 took 1 hour. Sector 9 was an abandoned industrial zone, empty factories, dark corridors, perfect hunting ground for the Reaper. The pilot looked back at Sarah. "I will wait here for 2 hours. If you are not back by then, I leave without you. Standard protocol." Sarah nodded and jumped out. The area was silent, too silent. No wind, no animals, nothing. Sarah turned on her helmet light and started walking. Every shadow looked like a threat. Every sound made her jump. She was walking through a graveyard. 23 hunters had died here. Their bodies had never been recovered. Sarah reached the main factory building. The door was open. Inside was darkness. She stepped through carefully. Her light cut through the black. Broken machines everywhere. Rust and blood on the walls. Then she saw it. Claw marks. Fresh ones. The Reaper was here. Close. A sound behind her. Sarah spun around. Nothing there. She turned back. Still nothing. Her heart was pounding. The manual said Class A monsters played with their food. They caused fear before they attacked. Sarah took a deep breath. She would not panic. Fear makes you stupid. She kept moving through the factory, room after room, corridor after corridor. Then suddenly the Reaper appeared. It dropped from the ceiling 10 feet in front of her. Sarah froze. It was massive, bigger than the videos showed. Its blade arms were 6 feet long. Its eyes glowed red in the darkness. It made a sound like metal scraping bone. Sarah fired. The Reaper moved. Her bullets hit empty air. It was fast, impossibly fast. It charged. Sarah ran. She sprinted through the factory as fast as her legs could move. The Reaper was right behind her. She could hear its breathing, feel its presence. Sarah burst through a door and kept running. She was not trying to escape. She was leading it somewhere. The old power core room. She had seen it in the building plans. The Reaper followed. It thought Sarah was easy prey, a small human running in fear. Sarah reached the power core room. Giant machines, electrical systems, fuel cells. She turned and fired at the Reaper. It dodged every shot. It was playing with her, enjoying the hunt. It moved closer, slow, confident. Sarah backed up against the wall, nowhere left to run. The Reaper raised its blade arms. This was the end. But Sarah smiled. She raised her rifle and aimed past the Reaper, at the main power core. She fired 5 shots. The core exploded. Fire and electricity erupted everywhere. The Reaper screamed.
Metal beams fell from the ceiling. One massive beam crashed down on the Reaper's back. Then another, and another. The monster was trapped, pinned under tons of steel. It could not move. Sarah walked forward slowly. Her armor was burned. Her face was covered in ash. The Reaper looked at her with hate in its red eyes. It tried to move but could not. Sarah aimed her rifle at the small gap between its armor plates, right where the spine connected to the skull. Every monster has a weak spot. Even you. She pulled the trigger. The Reaper's eyes went dark. Its body stopped moving. Sarah collapsed against the wall. She was exhausted, burned, barely alive, but alive. She pressed her emergency beacon. I need extraction. Mission complete. When the dropship picked her up 40 minutes later, Marcus was waiting. He saw the Reaper's body in the factory. He saw Sarah barely able to stand. He helped her into the ship. His voice was quiet. How? Sarah closed her eyes. You were right, Marcus. It did not follow patterns. So I stopped trying to predict it. I made it follow me instead. Sarah was promoted to team leader 3 weeks after killing the Reaper. She now had her own squad of 15 hunters. They called themselves the Pattern Breakers. Every new recruit in Monster Division wanted to join her team. Even Victor apologized. I was wrong about you, Chun. You were the real deal. Sarah's methods were now taught in the Monster Division Academy. Read the environment. Study the target. Find the pattern. Use your brain before your weapon. The success rate across all teams increased by 30%. The commander called Sarah into his office. You have changed how we fight, Chin. You have saved hundreds of lives. But then something strange started happening. Monsters began avoiding sectors where Sarah was assigned. Intelligence reports showed unusual behavior. A Class B Hydra retreated when it heard Sarah's team was coming. A pack of Rippers abandoned their nest before Sarah arrived. It was like they knew. One day a scientist named Dr. Yuki came to the base. She studied monster communication. She had discovered something terrifying. The monsters were talking about Sarah. They had a language, simple but effective, and they had given Sarah a name in their language. The Pattern Breaker. The one who sees. The one who kills. Marcus was in the briefing when Dr. Yuki explained this. So the monsters are afraid of her. Dr. Yuki shook her head. Not afraid. Aware. They know she is different. They know she is dangerous. And that means they will adapt. Sarah felt cold. If monsters could learn about her, then they could plan for her. 2 months passed. Missions became easier. Almost too easy. Monsters fled before fights started. Some monsters surrendered without fighting. It felt wrong. Sarah told Marcus something bad is coming. I can feel it. Marcus agreed. The quiet before the storm. Then it happened. A message came through the emergency channel. The voice was not human. It was deep and wrong, like metal grinding against stone. The message was simple and clear. Send me the Pattern Breaker, or I destroy Colony Prime. You have 48 hours. The entire base went silent. Colony Prime was the largest human settlement outside Earth. 50 million people lived there. Families, children, schools, hospitals. The voice continued. I am Valker, Class S. I have waited long enough. I want to meet the human who thinks she understands us. Class S, the highest threat level. Only 3 Class S monsters had ever been recorded. All 3 had destroyed entire planets before they were stopped. Each one took a full military fleet to kill. And now one was challenging Sarah directly. The commander looked at Sarah. You do not have to do this. We can evacuate Colony Prime. Send the entire fleet. Sarah stood up. How long will evacuation take? The commander hesitated. 6 days minimum. Sarah nodded. We have 48 hours. I am going. Marcus slammed his fist on the table. This is suicide. Class S monsters are not like the others. They are ancient, powerful, smart. Valker is not calling you out for a fair fight. It is a trap. Sarah looked at her friend. I know Marcus, but 50 million people. I have to try. The flight to Valker's location took 12 hours. The monster had chosen a dead planet called Zereth. No atmosphere, no life, just rock and dust. The perfect battlefield. Sarah went alone. The commander wanted to send a team, but Sarah refused. Valker asked for me. Sending others will just get them killed. The dropship landed on the surface. Sarah stepped out in a special suit. The planet was gray and empty. In the distance, she saw something moving. Valker was massive, 20 feet tall, 4 arms. Each arm ended in claws like swords. Its skin looked like black crystal. Its eyes burned with red fire. This was a monster from nightmares. Valker's voice echoed in Sarah's helmet. So you are the pattern breaker. You look small, fragile, yet you have killed 47 of my kind. Sarah raised her rifle. I did not want to kill them. They attacked humans first. I just defended. Valker laughed. It was a horrible sound. Defended. You hunted us. You studied us. You learned our weaknesses. And now you will pay. Valker attacked. It moved faster than anything Sarah had ever seen. She dodged left. Claws missed her by inches. She rolled right. Another attack barely missed. She fired her rifle. The bullets bounced off Valker's crystal skin like toys. This was different. This was impossible. Sarah ran between rock formations. Valker followed. It was not rushing. It was enjoying this. Sarah tried to find a pattern. Valker attacked from different angles, different speeds, different strategies. There was no pattern. It was completely random, chaotic. For the first time, Sarah's greatest weapon was useless. She was hit. One of Valker's claws caught her shoulder. Her suit tore. Pain exploded through her body. She fell behind a rock. Blood was flowing. Her rifle was damaged. She had maybe 5 minutes before her suit lost pressure. This was the end. But then Sarah remembered something. She had been fighting monsters for 6 months. Yes, she used patterns. But she had also been learning, training, fighting. Her body knew things her mind did not. Maybe it was time to stop thinking. Time to trust her instincts. Sarah stood up. She dropped the broken rifle. She pulled out her combat knife. Small, simple, deadly. Valker appeared above the rock. You are done, human. Sarah did not answer. She just moved. Her body flowed like water. Valker's claw came down. Sarah was not there. She was inside its reach. Close. Too close for the monster to hit. Sarah's knife found a gap in the crystal armor. She stabbed. Valker screamed. It swung wildly. Sarah ducked, moved, struck again. And again. She was not thinking anymore. She was just fighting. Pure instinct. Pure survival. Valker stumbled. Black blood poured from multiple wounds. It looked at Sarah with something new in its eyes. Respect. You are not what I expected, pattern breaker. You do not just see patterns. You are beyond patterns. Sarah pulled her knife free. I learned from the best teachers. You. Valker fell to its knees. Its voice was weak. Finish it. Sarah walked forward. She looked into the monster's burning eyes. Why did you do this? Why challenge me? Valker's laugh was quiet now. Because you are becoming legend. Legends must be tested. You pass human. You are truly the greatest hunter. Sarah drove her knife into Valker's core. The monster's eyes went dark. Its massive body fell forward and did not move. Sarah collapsed next to it. Her suit was failing. Her body was broken. But she pressed her beacon. Mission complete. I need medical now. The rescue ship arrived 10 minutes later. Marcus pulled Sarah inside. Medics worked on her immediately. She had broken ribs, a collapsed lung, severe blood loss. But she was alive. Marcus held her hand. You did it. You actually did it. Sarah smiled. It was weak, but real. I stopped thinking Marcus. I just fought. Turns out I learned more than patterns. 3 weeks later, Sarah was back at base. Her wounds had healed. The commander gave her the highest medal in Monster Division. But Sarah did not care about medals. She cared about the message that came from across the galaxy. Monster attacks on human colonies dropped by 60%. The monsters were retreating. So were even trying to communicate, to negotiate. Dr. Yuki explained it simply. You prove humans can match them. You earn their respect. The war is not over, but it has changed. Sarah nodded. That was enough. New hunters still asked to join her team. Sarah trained them personally. She taught them patterns, strategy, intelligence. But she also taught them something else. Sometimes you need to stop thinking. Trust yourself. Trust your training. That is when you become truly dangerous. Today, when people talk about Monster Division, they do not talk about the strongest hunter. They talk about Sarah-chan, the desk worker who became a legend, the woman who killed a Class S monster alone, the pattern breaker,